All right, welcome to another video from the chart readers. This last week was crazy. It was a very crazy 5 days of trading. I actually sent an extra email and I made an extra video on this day warning that there might be a fake out and we could see a drop, and that's exactly what we saw, right? So I'm going to go over what made me believe that and, obviously kind of start talking about the upcoming week, right? But one more time, this was a crazy week of trading, and I sincerely hope you've used my videos to really not get fooled out, right? That's the biggest thing. The worst thing you can do is see a couple things happen, you get scared and make a move, whether it's buy up here when you shouldn't have, maybe it's sell, whatever, and then boom, right? You just see the opposite happen over the next 2 days. So there's an ability to avoid fake outs, and hopefully you're using these videos to do that, right? But before we get into all that, let's just talk about what we're going to do, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly. We're going to use these 5 moving averages as well as these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do manually make. And then when we're done up here, we're going to come down here to our lower indicators, the MACD and the RSI. So we're going to look at the majors, right? We're going to look at the NASDAQ starting off here, and then we'll go into the S&P and into the Dow. So one more time, what a crazy 5 days of trading, right? So look, let's just kind of talk about the last week, right? This 5 days was arguably one of the scariest. I mean, you can even say this one as well, right? I mean, there were 2 back-to-back weeks with only one positive day and a pretty substantial drop through that 2 week, right? I mean, we were literally at over 11.5 and then we pretty much dropped to 10.5, right? I mean, that's significant movement for what really should be a slow and steady NASDAQ, right? You never see these 3% ups or downs. It should be a 0.3 or something, right? So crazy 2 weeks. Look, if you've started to watch my videos, you know I'm generally an optimist, right? I want things to go up. I always want things to go up. And the only reason I would believe something isn't is if these lines tell me that it's not, right? And, I've been pretty pessimistic coming up through the last 2 weeks. Monday the 3rd, actually on this day as well, I did mention that I expected to see a bounce. I really did. And this Monday day actually was pretty much in line with what I expected. So why did I think there was going to be a bounce? So looking at this day, if you look in this box over here, you'll see RSI in the lower part of the box to the left. And you'll see the RSI reading was 16, right? 16.63. That is super low, right? So to me, the drop had been significant enough to get this RSI too low. And you know what? We need the RSI to go back up a little bit because, again, you've heard me kind of say there's going to be a healthy drop, there's going to be a healthy rise. Things don't, the RSI I use for a reason, right? It generally sits between 80 and 30. If there's any reason why it's not in that 80-30 range, it gets my sensors up, right? So 16 is super low. It makes sense we would go up. And the next day we did, right? And we actually went up where I expected to go up, right? We stayed under the 8. We actually stayed under my death line, and we go from here to here. Believe me, this is a big gain, but it's more than within what I expected, okay? The real surprise came Tuesday, okay? I'll be real honest. I did not expect us to get over this, let alone gap up and run up the whole day, okay? I got a little worried. Look, I don't want to say where my money is or like what I'm thinking, but again, I'm just generally pessimistic. So something like this would be bad for someone who's pessimistic, right? The following Wednesday was enough for me to at least be comfortable holding my pessimistic views. Now, the why right here really is this Wednesday holding my pessimistic view is that's what you got to learn, right? So I'm going to show you a few things here, okay? So, and then one quick way to know that this is true, right? Because obviously anyone can lie. I made a video on Wednesday I sent a couple messages, and then I obviously sent an extra email. So if you come to my website, chartreaders.com, obviously you're going to get all my old videos and all that, but at the very bottom you can sign up for this weekly email. Okay, I'm not going to spam you, I'm not trying to take any of your money. I'm actually really enjoying doing all this for free and getting, you know, the chats and watching all the subscribers go up. It's really cool, I'll be honest. But this weekly you'll get a lot of good info, because honestly I make these videos, I'm not really practicing them, and then obviously when I'm done I'm kind of still doing my thing. A couple things come up and I'll shoot a couple extra notes. But one more time, the focus is going to be on Wednesday, and real quick, this is going to be the exact same thing across everyone, right? Boom, 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 bad. S&P 500. We're going to go to the DJ30, all right? Dow Jones Industrial, boom, 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 bad, right? So what we're going to talk about here will really, oops, I put it in NASDAQ, will really, it's going to translate across the three. So why did I believe after this Wednesday day, these 2 days are going to come? So it's going to start by zooming out, okay? So first thing I noticed, all right, obviously we made a good run, and if you go back to my old videos, you'll see a lot of this described. I'm just kind of giving you a little bit more. So we ran up, we were always above the 8. Again, you know my rule, right? Once you lose the 8, once you go, that's when bad things, in my opinion, happen, right? And that's basically what happened. There was an attempt, but nonetheless, we're trading below the 8. What really jumped out to me, I'm going to stay right here, is this 20, okay? The orange line represents the 20 moving average, okay? This is a computer-generated line that has some math behind it that I don't pretend to know. I don't pretend to care. All I know is that dot is there for a reason. That dot is there for a reason. And then when that line connects, I follow it, okay? And believe me, that's all technical analysis is, right? It's just follow the lines, okay? Look at what happens with this 20, okay? So we've now lost the 8. We now come up, fail the 8 and come back down, but also fail the 20, right? We never get over it right here. Come back down, boom. Right here, we break the 8, right? So that's a good thing. In my book, once you're over the 8, that's good. And look, we actually got a couple days behind it. But one more time, we never got over the 20, okay? Obviously, I do have a line here, but still focus on the 20. We come back down, we start to make a run, okay? On Tuesday, at the end, I sincerely believed, I knew it in my heart, right? Nothing's guaranteed in the stock market, nothing. You cannot sincerely believe you're gonna predict it, but the game is to kind of set yourself up to at least not lose money, right? Give yourself what might happen and then attack. I told myself, if we don't break the 20, this thing's not going to break it again. Because again, this gap up was monstrous, okay? Because again, I know it doesn't look like a lot, but this is the NASDAQ we're talking about. This is a slow and steady beast, right? When you gap like that, you're coming with some power, right? You're gaining momentum. It's almost like a running back or like an NBA player, whatever sport you watch, tennis even. They're literally about to wind up and they should smack the ball through, right? The fact that that gap up wasn't enough to even get us close. Oh man, I knew it was over. Not only that, look, Wednesday actually closed underneath, okay? Tuesday ended up here, Wednesday ended up here, okay? That's lower. And to me, that symbolizes a bad good day, okay? I'm going to say that one more time. There are good days, and then there are bad good days. There are also bad days and good bad days, okay? But look, I understand that this was a green day. It actually went up, and it looks like a good day. However, it wasn't. It wasn't good enough, okay? And good enough is really important in the stock market, all right? And if you're not good enough, shit, you might as well call yourself bad, right? And that is actually how I play my game. This was a bad good day, followed by a bad day, followed by a shit day, okay? And if you can get yourself ready, if you can tell yourself on Tuesday, look, this is about to be the third attempt on this orange line. It's either going to break it and we got to change from pessimistic to optimist, or I'm right, it's going to fail and we got to stay pessimistic. And look, don't change your plan for 3 days. And that's basically what happened. And I hope you, and again, I'm going to do the exact S&P 500. Exact same thing, right? Boom. I'm going to go to the Dow Jones. DJ30, Dow Jones Industrial. Boom. Exact same thing. None of them could make a third attempt. This one actually got over just a little bit, but then again failed. This one didn't get as close that time. Oh man, again, got so close. Actually tested it. I don't care about intraday. I'm a day close trader, right? I need the day to finish, for the candles to finish, to make my plan, right? So again, know your time frames, know how you trade, but set up some rules. Make sure things can happen, and then make your move the day after it happens, right? I talk about follow through and stuff like that. That's what that means, right? So, look, I don't care if this day went up here and I didn't buy any of that, because I know I probably would have bought right here. I know the fact that, right? Like, don't worry about catching it the day it happens. That's actually how you lose more money than you gain. Follow through. The day after confirmation is the best day. You know what I mean? So, all that said, look, I got a couple minutes, right? I don't want to go too deep into this. There's a lot of bad happening right now. We now have a real ugly RSI. We're back on the NASDAQ, right? This could go back down into the 12-16 range. We literally just saw it last week around 15, right? Why couldn't we? Like, it's more than plausible. Coming into the weekly, look, we're under the line. We did not make the 200. And I said this on my midweek thing. Look how high the weekly was. And this was by Wednesday. I said, just because 3 of the 5 days are done, that does not mean the weekly can still end poorly. And I was right. The weekly ended poorly on only 2 days. We had 3 killer days, and it was all for nothing after only 2 trading days. Okay? You need to be patient. I'm a human too. Look, I'm not any financial wizard or guru. I'm just a dude with a job who put a lot of time into learning this shit, So I was there with you when you were doing I was doing some real dumb moves, okay? I've lost so much money back in the day, but I can sincerely say I'm significantly better because of technical analysis, So look, again, I know this looks like it's trying to come up, but again, 80% of the work's here, and oh man, it still looks like the weekly's not looking good here, right? So let's take a look at the S&P 500 again. Let's just look at the RSI for the upcoming week. Again, we're still seeing that same little peak. We were sitting over this support line and then really not too far. Sorry, I hate zooming out so much like this. Not too far from my death line, right? So, and look, actually as you zoom out, you can kind of see this thing literally, like I said, it went too low. It needed to reset, and it might be coming back down one more time. So I can't imagine the weekly's going to look. Again, I know I see that, but this one's a little interesting, actually. I like the fact that this actually did stay over the 200. It actually closed over this line as well. So that's interesting. I'm glad I slowed this down. Hopefully you stay till the end and watch this. But this weekly could be something I'll pay attention to. Again, was this a good enough weekly? I don't think so. It definitely did the bare minimum stuff. It stayed over this line. It actually closed over this line. But comparatively to this guy, I wish it did more. And again, I see the fact that it actually was so high up and then just got slammed down, right? So all that kind of considered, is that a really good week? Nah. Is it a good enough week? It's on that border, right? But it's definitely an interesting outlier I will pay attention to. And then I'm going to stay on the weekly. We'll start weekly with the Dow Jones. Again, Interesting. This one I would say is a better one. We're a lot closer to the death line though, right? So we're still under the 200. We're still under this one, and we're a lot closer to the death line. That said, again, same kind of slap down, right? It got so high. Expectations were so high and then slammed down, right? So I feel like that alone takes away a little bit from this. But look, I try not to go over 15 minutes. I really wanted to stress the 3 days, right? Because again, learn from this, right? Don't let 3 days fool you from what was 2 weeks of pretty definitive information. Again, if it broke over, I would have changed my mind for sure. And that's why I stress follow through and confirmations. Man, I hope you're learning. I do hope you subscribe, but nonetheless, I appreciate all the hours and times. I can't believe how many people are watching these. It's a beautiful thing. Hey, have a great one.